Dvapara Yuga according to the Puranas. In my previous two videos, I summarised the Satya and Treta Yugas as described in the Puranas. Now I shall do the same for the third period of the grand time cycle, the Dvapara Yuga. Treta Yuga ended around 869,000 years ago. That was shortly after the time when Lord Rama left this world and returned to the spiritual realm. Not long after that, there was a terrible global drought which lasted many years. It naturally caused huge problems for human society. After that period, life never really returned to the level of the Treta Yuga. Nevertheless, in early Dvapara Yuga, there were still great and powerful kings who were descendants of the demigods. Some of the great kings included Puranas of the Moon dynasty, who by earthly calculations ruled for about 14,000 years. Dvapara Yuga, sometimes called the Bronze Age, witnessed royalty who were naturally brave and noble. They possessed great opulence, supported large families and enjoyed life. But many also became interested in glory and physical indulgence. The following human generations and all its complex branches became increasingly earthbound, although the celestial beings still frequented the earth. Expensive and elaborate fire yagnas, which formerly used to attract humanoid races from across the universe, no longer became an effective spiritual process. Aryan societies instead focused on building temples to house deities. Lifespans of the nobility reduced to a maximum of 1,000 years, or a few hundred, as the Yuga proceeded. Climate change was influential in the Dvapara Yuga, more so than the previous Yugas because the general population were more earthbound. During the last quarter of the Yuga, migration increased and many of the human races we recognise today and their ancient cultures gradually came into being. Modern humans have been around a lot longer than we are often told, and if you don't believe me, read books like Forbidden Archaeology and the Hidden History of the Human Race. Time and generations passed. King Ayati, in line of the Moon dynasty, was one of those who firmly established Hastinapur as the political capital of the world of the time. What later became known as Bharat was where most of the population resided, and it was dominated by Dharmic culture. Yet some of Ayati's descendants moved west of the Bharat region to establish themselves there amongst the local tribes. So over many years there was a gradual migration away from Dharmic culture as tribes and races adapted versions of their own. More Aryan kings came and went. That included the great Maharaj Bharat himself. The famous epic Mahabharata took place in the latter section of the Dvapara Yuga. Based on historical facts, it introduced King Shantanu of the Kuru dynasty. He married the goddess Gangadevi, and one of their sons was famously later known as Bhishma. The complex and intriguing developments over hundreds of years that followed can be studied today in books and films based on the Mahabharata. We learn about divine births, injustice of ruling monarchs, the vows of warriors, the dishonouring of Queen Draupadi, and the attachment to power which leads to the huge and inevitable war, set in the land of Kurukshetra. That was when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Before most of those events, the world had become overburdened by the unnecessary defence force of different kings who were actually demons who took birth on the earth in royal families. At that time, the whole world became perturbed. So Lord Krishna himself and his brother Balaram took birth. Throughout their lives, they defeated many of those powerful demons who took on a variety of different forms. In the aforementioned Kurukshetra war, most Kshatriyas, the warrior class, were killed. During the war period and even afterwards, a number of powerful Brahmastra weapons were used, resembling nuclear explosions of today. After that terrible phase, Yudhisthira was crowned Emperor of the civilized world. But after just 36 years or so, many inauspicious natural omens of the terrible Kali Yuga began to manifest. It is understood that Dvapara Yuga ended and Kali Yuga began when Lord Krishna left this world. That was about 5,130 years ago. Yudhisthira then gave up the throne and passed it to his nephew Parikshit. Formerly, the Brahminical community passed on Vedic knowledge via word of mouth, but by the end of Dvapara Yuga, the Brahminical order itself had declined. However, knowing that Kali Yuga was imminent, Vedavyas wrote down the Vedic knowledge and split it into the 4 Vedas. Generations followed, and meanwhile, Kali Yuga took hold. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada wrote that according to the Mahabharata, the early kings of Egypt originally migrated from India. By then, Bharat was no longer the political centre of the world, and empires elsewhere came about. The 12th canto, chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Purana describes the steady and ongoing decline of India since those times. We are now in the worst of all the 4 yugas, Kali, which is riddled with quarrel, hypocrisy, lies and deceit. Demigods now tend to avoid the earth, leaving only demoniac humanoid species to take interest. Much of humankind's real ancient history has been lost, destroyed or denied. We are a species with amnesia. I have made a number of videos about Kali Yuga, including prophecies in the Puranas about Kali Yuga and the Golden Age. It paints a dark picture for Kali Yuga, but offers a period of spiritual revival before things get very bad. Then the Maha Yuga starts again with another Satya Yuga.